Two things I'm gonna cover in this episode. We're gonna talk about how trading is not that glamorous. I'm just gonna hop right into it. Social media has a lot of people fooled, and I'm not anti-social media, not even anti-social, not even the least bit. However, the biggest thing with social media is lifestyle, right? Lifestyle, travel, just people flaunting wealth or even perceived wealth, right? I know a few people who act like they're balling and wealthy on the internet, and in real life, they don't have it like that. It's just all for pictures, it's all for show. And when you think about it, almost everything in life is sell. And someone's constantly trying to sell you on an idea. And again, if you have affiliate links and stuff like that in your bio, it's I get it, right? You're trying to make money, you're trying to make a buck. I'll never knock anyone for trying to make money, but it's the intent behind it. It's how you do it for me that either turns me on or off. There's even a few traders on social media that I used to have a lot of respect for. And then you hear them saying, I want to be an influencer in this space. Define that. What does that mean? What are you trying to influence? Right. And I pride myself. I don't push my trading course, my mentoring group on anybody. It's come if you please. If you think I'm cool, I'll interview you. And if what we have is a match, we'll work with it. But the process of even learning anything is not glamorous. Before trading, I had a couple of things. I had a small insurance company and had a solar company as well. And the process is not pretty. But even in that space, you see the people like, oh, I've made X amount of dollars selling solar and then getting solar panels installed. Every industry is this way when it comes to social media. But, they're not in meetings with guys trying to source solar panels. They're not in meetings trying to negotiate pay for contractors and you taking the scraps that's left over, or the sales teams that are going and knocking on doors that is really cutting into your profit. And even some days, as the leader, the CEO, whatever title you want to place upon it, you're out there knocking, right? You're out there trying to show the people how you do it and how to do it. And you can't be above any task, which is kind of why trading's it's that same way, it's that same thing. And what do you see on the internet? Oh, 24-year-old millionaire, this, that, right? It's highly likely it's false because these guys are getting money off of affiliate links from brokers and even prop firms are giving out affiliate links for people too. And again, get your money, but it's the manner in which you do it. Don't sell the fact that you're a profitable trader. You're a great salesperson. That's seriously, they are great salespeople. They're selling you on getting their product. And then when you see a lot of these, I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm about peace, but I can also get about that. I can also be about that controversy. There was an instance on a live stream, and again, no one's talking about it. I'm not going to even mention the affiliated trader's name. They were on live stream and they were just blowing trades left and right, revenge trading left and right. And it's just amazing what people were still falling for the marketing gimmick. Everybody's going to lose trades. Everybody's going to lose money in business, right? I mean, I lost a lot of money when I was in the solar business. It's just part of the game. It's just how it's going to naturally go. And it's not glamorized. In my own personal trading group, we don't hide from losses. We talk about them and we help you get through all of that. And again, it's not pretty, right? No one was there with me in my struggle, right? But my family, the people in my household, no one was there when I was literally banging my head at the table because I couldn't get it. No one was there when I was doubting myself, questioning myself, and really just not in a good place. No one was there when I was like, you know what? It would probably be a good idea to, drive off a cliff so my wife can get the insurance money because my value wasn't there as a man in my eyes. This is the stuff no one's talking about. This is the stuff no one's acknowledging, right? Because at that point, I thought money would solve everybody's problems, right? And again, the process of getting to that point, I felt like a burden on people because I would, Dad, I need money, right? I'll give it back. Empty promises and things of that nature. And that's part of the game no one's talking about. Everyone wants to come in and say, I built I built my trading to seven figures in 3 months. I don't believe you. Don't. And I think the followers fall for it because everybody wants this instant gratification, right? And a lot of it stems from that people want what they feel they can't have. Well, everything's attainable. You just got to attune to it. And it's not a glamorous process. Any entrepreneur I know, any entrepreneur that I know has been through it, rock bottom, maybe even beneath rock bottom. I don't know what's beneath rock bottom. And again, the universe tends to pay you back for your grind as long as you make the necessary changes. It's not just going to automatically pay you back. Changes have to be made. It is non-negotiable, right? If you're walking in a straight line, you keep hitting the wall, thinking the wall's going to move. The wall's not going to move. You have to move, right? It's not glamorous. Those parts don't show up on social media or a person's website or anything that they're trying to market to you to click a link in their freaking bio, right? So I got to contain myself. It annoys me. And here's my bar. I know fund managers. I know private traders that have made insane amounts of money. There is no way that these kids on socials are outperforming these guys. You gotta think too, like where's this coming from? I can out so many of these influencers right now. I choose not to because I'm not about controversy. People just gotta open their eyes and wake up. What did they go through? What did they lose to get to where they gotta get? And a promise of guaranteed money, like, get out of here, man. Go somewhere with that BS. And also, the one advantage as retail traders that we have is, yeah, we can make percentage wise more gains than a hedge fund, right? Because they're 3 to 5% a year, right? Oh, you probably scoff at that, but what's 1% of a billion is more than a lot of cats have ever seen. Shout out to Jay-Z for the line. That's real stuff. It's like legitimately real stuff. And I mean, there was just another guy. I forget that he was touting himself on Instagram as the crypto whisperer. That wasn't what his handle was, but he was showing off private jets. I think he raised like he got like 56 or 65 million dollars out of investors, claiming that he was doing these outrageous returns in crypto and currency markets. Well, that guy got beat half to death when investors found out that he was just showing lifestyle. And my mentor, one of my mentors, I won't say his name, said sometimes it's never enough for people, right? And again, they fell for it too. The people, the cream of the crop. And I don't put no one above me because we all bleed the same, we all breathe the same air. But financially, they're the cream of the crop, and they fell for them. Again, lesson learned, right? But no one talks about the tough times. No one talks about what it really, really takes to get to a point of one, making money in any business, and two, what toll did it take? What scars do you have from the actual process? It's not all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorn piss. Sometimes it's thunderstorms and horse poop all up in your face because that's just the nature of trying to make it in anything. I know, like even martial arts, man, when I first started, I was getting my butt handed to me. left and right, right and left, and to get to a point to where now I'm in there with those black belts. Like, okay, hit me harder. You don't got nothing for me. But they weren't there when I was getting the wind knocked out of me. I'm like, oh man, my ribs may be broken, right? Just taking these hits from guys who have been there and done it before. But the thing is, they were once in my position. So it goes back to one of I think it's an older episode where I talked about having to earn your stripes. It's really the same thing in any arena. If you're not earning your stripes, you're not really making it. And again, kudos to anyone who's cracked like the social media code and gains followers like crazy. But I'm not gonna do it in a way that I have to compromise my integrity. That's not who I am. And I'm never gonna step into something that I'm not. It's not what I do. And I'm looking at my notes here. And really, there's nothing exciting about trading anymore. Not a single thing. I love it, but it's not exciting. It's not glamorous. It's quite boring. When you think about it, you're literally just sitting at a computer, pressing buy, pressing sell. You're analyzing charts. What's glamorous about it? It's that ego, and a lot of people they'll use that to like, oh, look at me, I can analyze a chart and blah blah blah. They're really only showing you sections of trades that have won. And like I see this Instagram ad all the time about this trend line indicator, and they're only showing you. It's clear as day that they're using TradingView replay, and only a section that the trend line worked out. Well, there's years and years of data historically. How did it perform? Right. Again, there's people are taking the shortcuts, but a lot of these guys are getting out it left and right, right and left. And I would lie if I did. Again, I'm not for anyone getting their butt whooped in the streets or beat with guns or nothing like that. But yeah, karma stuff is real. And really, what's the glamour? At least for me being in the States, there's no glamour of being up at 2 o'clock in the morning trading London session. None glamorous about it. The freedom that I have to do so, and I can go back to sleep and wake up whenever I want, but I earned that. It's not anything given. And with new projects that I've taken on with a couple of other members in the group, it's back to square one. We have to earn our stripes with this new project that we're working on. So yeah, next part. So the next thing I want to talk about is your desires. They're perfectly fine, but not when you're going through your process. It's no question I want a Lamborghini. And I remember one summer we had just gotten back from LA and there's a luxury car dealership and I wanted to touch a steering wheel. And I go in there and there's a white LP 580-2 Huracan. And the guy lets me sit in it. And again, I'm dressed like this. I got a tank top on, t-shirt, and basketball shorts and sandals. Guy asked me, what do I do for a living? And it's a question I don't like to directly answer. I'm in finance. That's what I do. He's like, oh, nice. And we started talking numbers. And this was at a point to where the luxury and exotic car market was not doing so hot. But now a naturally aspirated engine is they're taxing for it. So I sit in this white LP 580-2 and I'm in love. I lift the start button cover, start it up, it roars, it purrs, and I'm like, yo, how much do you want for this car? 240. Thought about it. I looked at my wife. It's like I can swing that. And I said, okay, okay, okay. I'm being emotional because this is my dream car. 225. And he goes, maybe 230. And I'm like, oh, that's even better. That's $15,000 off the price of an LP 580-2. And granted, the Lambo was, and it still is the dream car. It wasn't the color or the model I wanted. I want the LP 600-4 in matte gray. That's what I wanted. Never say if I've ever got it or not, but that's what I want. So I walk away from it because one, it's not what I want. And two, I never would have even had the option or the thought to even spend that much money on a freaking vehicle if I didn't go through the process. When I sit at the charts, I don't think about the wants. I know I can damn near have whatever I want to this day. But when I'm sitting here earning my money, I don't think about that. It doesn't matter. Markets and the other projects that I'm working on don't care about my needs and my desires, my wants. They only care about execution. How did I execute? And how good did I execute at? That is what it is about. Did I execute? And then did I execute it properly and at a super duper high level, right? The best of my ability. And a lot of people, they live and die literally with every single trade. It's not the point. You're only as good as your last trade. You're only good as your last trade. If you're in sales, you're only as good as your last sell, right? If you're CEO of a company, you're only as good as the last company you built. If this one failed, if your new venture fails, then what are you, right? So Chris Laurie said something, and he says he learned to despise his wants and needs while he's trading at the chart. He's learned to completely disconnect from material and only worry about execution. And this guy's an Olympian. You don't, I don't understand what it takes for someone to get to that level in sport. But even for him, and I don't know if Chris has ever won a gold medal, but to even get to the point to where you get a gold medal, yeah, you can have the thought of the gold medal out there, but you don't get to gold medal level unless you're putting in the work, going through the process to get there. And that also ties back into it. It's not, the process is not glamorous. You get hurt, get injured. It is what it is. But you got to get up and fight, right? Piggybacks to the other episode about earning your stripes. So, and it will help you out psychologically as well, especially if you're trading, that when you're there, just push everything out of your mind. The freedom, the money, the house you want, it's not going to serve you any good while you're sitting at your chart attempting to make a living from this game. you're, you're just going to push yourself further along. And don't look at your P&L when you're trading. You're not, are you trading the market or are you trading your P&L? So many people trade with their P&L open and then they let the dollar amount make them emotional. It's not about that. I'm trading the market, not my P&L. Your P&L is a result of the process. It is only a result of the process. So detach yourself from the outcome, right? I heavily study Buddhism and I practice detachment. Heavily detach from the outcome and only be present in your current process. And I don't do anything special when I get to my charts, when I'm working on these projects. I don't do anything special. I just get centered and focused on what's right directly in front of me because that's the only thing that matters. It's like that snowball effect, right? The snowball just doesn't start out as one big giant snowball. And I grew up in Chicago, so we used to make snowballs. You gotta pack snow in there. You gotta keep packing it, keep packing it, keep packing it, and eventually you end up with a big giant snowball. And What you don't realize is you went through a process. One of the coolest things in my life that some of you guys can probably connect to is having a baby. My little guy, he's 8 months right now, and he is learning to walk and standing up on things. He doesn't let anything stop him because he's not conditioned or any of that to want to need. He is going off of instinct. He's going off of his natural instinctive process to pull up on something and build his strength, build his character and his legs, right? That way he can eventually get to the point where he takes off around the house. And my other son, my 9-year old, same thing. But that kid, he and even to this day, he's a ball of energy, just a fireball. The kid, as soon as he was able to stand up on his own power, he didn't walk, he ran. But there's a lesson to that. He was moving too fast. He couldn't stop. He walked right into a wall. I have it on video. His first steps were more like run. He was running in stride and ran right into a wall. But even that didn't stop him, right? Because that bump on his head was just a bump on his head. It was something to learn from, and it instinctively taught him to learn that to learn down. Wow, can't talk, Andre. It instinctively taught him to slow down and keep putting in the work for the process. And now, as humans, we don't even think about walking; we just do it. Like even holding the bottle, watching my 8-month-old learning to hold this bottle. He didn't stop. He kept tweaking hand positions and figuring out how is this bottle comfortable in my hand. And he eventually got it, and he got it to what works for him. Sometimes he holds this bottle from the bottom of it, and sometimes like your typical baby, and he holds it with two hands on the side. But they don't stop till they get it. And at some point, that gets conditioned out of us. And I think that gets conditioned out of us because we're heavily marketed to. We're heavily marketed to, oh, go buy that house, go buy that car, go do this, go do that. And when you get into trading or business, if you don't love what you do, you're not going to follow your process. You're just going to be connected to the end game. Well, the end game is a result of everything that is done in the here and now. Like even with this podcast, it's doing quite well for a small podcast, but I'm just enjoying sitting here talking to a mic and just speaking the things and my experiences out there for people to listen to and hopefully learn from. Do I want it to grow? Heck yeah. I'd be a lie if I said I didn't. But I know that's part of the process of me and the team figuring out what works best, what doesn't work best. And it's just another code to crack. And that excites me, cracking the code. And then eventually growing this podcast to what I think it can be, what I want it to be. And who knows, it may evolve past trading because I'm so much more than that. But yes, guys, you cannot connect to the desires while you're in the process. One of my favorite YouTube channels is Daily Driven Exotics. Those guys are freaking dope. He started a business. He said in a video today, he started his business so he can afford to buy a Lamborghini. But the road, if I could sit down with Damon Fryer and ask him what was his road like to that Lamborghini, I'm sure I'm going to get a story of trial, error, bumps, bruises, pain. But out of that, look at him now. The guy has him and Dave, they have what, 14, maybe 15 exotic cars. And they are literally driving cars, making content and making money. It's pretty sweet. They created their own avenue to drive supercars, have fun, make money. But even that process, you see these guys are away from their families. You see that they're away from the people that they love for days at a time. And it's part of the process. In order for them to have the life that they have to go through their processes. So do you. So I would urge anyone who's trying to make it in any avenue of anything, have the end goal in mind, right? Like, they say start with the end in mind, but don't keep it in mind the whole time. Your process is more important because your process is going to lead you to the end game. You will likely have to tweak your process to get to the end game. Also, know that it will never be a smooth transition. Mm-mm. It's never going to be a smooth A to B ride. It's going to be murky. It's going to be ugly. You're going to get dirty. You're going to cut yourself. You're going to get bumps, bruises. People are going to come in and out of your life. People are going to laugh at you. They're going to call you stupid. It's going to happen. How are you going to respond? That's just part of the process. And there's nothing wrong with those people. They're just projecting, literally just projecting. I heard it all. It's risky. Why would you do that? You have two kids. Why would you risk your job, your well-being? My friends, as we say, you don't get the biscuit if you don't risk it. Right? Goodness. So, and just remember, whatever motivates you, there's nothing wrong with it. It could be material, it could be financial, it could be a mansion, it could be to shine, right? There's no wrong with that. Just know that you have to get there. And when you're in that process, be in the now and you'll shine. Even the stars have a process to shine. They need the night to fall, right? So, all right, guys, I'm going to cut this in. Thank you for listening. I hope these words help. Also, let me know what you like better. The interview style podcasts, me talking, a mix of both. It's probably going to end up being a mix of both. But the long-term vision is to have conversations, deep, real conversations, not just trading, life, business, how to grow, personal growth, spiritual growth, whatever. That's all going to happen. Again, thank you so much for the support. If you've taken the time to listen, to leave a review, to like a YouTube video, it is something I'm very grateful for, and it keeps me going. All right, guys, I'll catch you later. Cheers.